He just said, he'll be here. Yeah. Might have. We are live. So welcome to our special council meeting, Monday, June 15th, 2026. We're beginning just a couple minutes late at 5:04 p.m. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Mayor Karen Cunningham.
Present.
Council Member Steve Cody.
Here.
Vice Mayor Mark Meritzer.
Present.
Council Member Marsha Matson.
Here.
Quorum is met.
Thank you. If we could, in lieu of invocation, just take a moment of silence. If I could get everybody to please stand. And Vice Mayor, can you lead us in the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God. Thank you. Before we move into requests, petitions, and public comments, just a point of personal privilege. My daughter has joined me this evening from Temecula, California. Welcome home, Megan Handler. Love you. All right. With that, we take requests, petitions, and public comments.
My name is Dr. Pakovich, 9280 Southwest 167 Terrace, Palmetto Bay, Florida. I want to say thank you to our Sheriff's Office, the Palmetto Bay, and amazing job with the stopping traffic and writing tickets for people that are unsafe drivers in Palmetto Bay. Also, our administration, it's amazing. You can always see how the employees are by administration and by our village manager, and I'm very thankful to be a resident of Palmetto Bay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, do we have any public comments by form?
No public comments by form were submitted.
Very good. So if I could, Lily, I know normally we're used to seeing our village attorney, John Quick. We know that he is out of town. And those plans were made prior to us calling this special council meeting. So do you just want to do a little bit of an introduction?
Good evening, everybody. I'm Lillian Arango, also known as Lily. I'm here for John Quick, my partner. Happy to be here. Any questions, just feel free to ask.
Oh, brace yourself. No one leaves here without having questions asked. All right, very good. Well, with that, we'll go ahead and move in. We've got two items on tonight's agenda. The first is an ordinance for first reading with public comment. It was deferred from the June 1st meeting. Would somebody move that item?
Move it.
It's been moved. Is there a second? I will second it. Madam Clerk, can you read item 3A?
An ordinance of the Mayor and Village Council of the Village of Palmetto Bay, Florida, repealing and rescinding Ordinance 2026-01, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing for severability clause, and providing an effective date. This ordinance is sponsored by the Village Council, and it was deferred from the June 1st, 2026 regular council meeting.
Very good. Acting Village Attorney Arango, I will turn it over to you.
Yes, good evening again. This is first reading of the ordinance as read by the clerk, and this essentially rescinds another ordinance, 2026-01, which amended section 2.51 of the Village Code as it relates to matters of the Village Charter Revision Committee. Essentially, this rescinds that ordinance, and the intent is to retain the right to approve any and all charter amendments to the Village Council.
Thank you. Quick question. Do you have a question? No. Quick question for you, since, and I do believe that if we just go ahead and move forward at this time, the item's going to fail because well, it'll be a 2-2 vote, although I can't speak for everybody up here, just based on, the conversations that we had previously and the comments that were made previously. Is it possible that we could take a recess and find out where our colleague is and at what time?
Yes, Mayor, that would be possible. You can take a 5-10-minute recess and come back.
Very good. So do I need a vote to recess?
And, yes.
Okay,
Move it.
thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we're recessing for 10 minutes. we're live again. All right, we're back from recess, and let the record reflect that Councilmember Fiore is in the house. We've already moved the item. It's been seconded. We introduced Lily Arango, who's the acting village attorney for the evening in John Quick's absence. And here we are. So I guess we'll start with questions of the village attorney. Vice Mayor?
Yeah, my understanding is that this item was deferred specifically to seek further guidance from the Commission on Ethics. I just wanted to see if there's been any further updates since that last meeting from the Commission.
Thank you. Village attorney?
There is an opinion from the Ethics Commission dated May 29th of this year, 2026. Since then, I don't believe there has been any further communications or clarifications issued by the commission.
Thank you. Anything else for the village attorney? Is there any explanation that's needed to go along with the item?
Yes, I do have a question for the attorney.
Sure.
So the opinion, the advisory opinion was rather ambivalent, I guess I would describe it. That is, if they got enough information, that is specifically they wanted to know if there was a settlement discussion, whether that was ever given to them, that information was ever given to the attorney, or the Ethics Commission, sorry. Because in that case, if they were informed that there had been a settlement meeting, then Mr. Cody could not vote. That's what they wrote.
Yes, the opinion in the conclusion has some parameters. If this is pursuant to settlement, then he would have a conflict, Councilperson Cody. If this is a policy decision of this council to rescind the resolution and the ordinance, then there is no conflict. And they did establish some other parameters in that opinion.
All right, and then my understanding and my reading of this is that this is tantamount to a settlement because it calls for the same thing that Mr. Cody calls for in his lawsuit. What is your opinion on that?
Are you asking me if this is a settlement of this council?
Well,
Or of Councilperson Cody?
Yeah, is this a settlement that would essentially accomplish the same thing as his lawsuit wants, which is rescission of the ordinance and the resolution? So does that mean that this is a settlement?
This
And if I-
is not a settlement.
Yeah, thank you. If I could also, we talked a little bit at the last meeting. I know, Lily, you weren't here. I don't know if you watched the meeting, about being cautious about any conversations that were held during the executive meeting. I'm just mentioning it because Lily wasn't here.
I know, well, I
I
tried to
inter-
make the distinction between discussion and having a meeting.
Understood. And if she
Okay.
was about to answer, I just wanted to mention it to her.
Right. This is not a settlement of this council. By taking this action and rescinding the resolution and the ordinance, it's not settlement. In fact, I think the time to answer the complaint has been extended to July 13th. The village has not taken a position on that lawsuit as of yet. However, Mr. Councilperson Cody's intentions with respect to the lawsuit are his personal intentions, and I don't know what those are at this time. But I can tell you that the action today would not constitute a settlement of that lawsuit.
Okay, does that answer your question?
It does.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? We'll go into comments then. Comments? Vice Mayor?
Yeah, so I have two concerns with this. The first is that this has been something that we have debated as a council ad nauseum for the longest time. And yes, while there was litigation filed, and yes, while we are in a situation that we are reversing the very ordinance that the litigation calls into question, my core concern from last meeting was that we specifically extended the timeline for us to consider this item to get further clarification, and by the sounds of it, that has not occurred. So my personal preference would be to, again, wait until we get better clarification from the commission before proceeding. And the second part, on the merits of this policy itself, we've had resident volunteers who have given their time, their effort, and their expertise to this village, who I value very strongly. And essentially what this council would be doing by rescinding this policy is putting their entire effort and their entire work over the past year into limbo. And I'm personally not comfortable doing that for the people who have given their time and, again, their expertise to this council and to the members of this public. And my concern is that if we were to move forward with this, we would essentially be depriving the residents the ability to consider unaltered their proposals. So I'd hope that we can at least consider some of their proposals. Again, I will reference this. I brought this up last meeting, but I intend to bring their proposals to the July meeting. I would hope to have council support for that, but I cannot be in support of this policy at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Other comments? Councilmember?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. Madam Attorney, so I think now is the time. So let's discuss the items that they want to bring forward. The Charter Review Commission, let's go through them one by one.
Are you able to do that?
I don't need, I'm sorry, Madam Mayor. I don't need a word for, just a general thing. Let's,
I am not familiar, I don't sit with the commission and what items are bringing forward. I didn't know that that was the topic of today's meeting. I apologize, Councilperson Fiore. I'm not familiar with the specific items they want to bring forward.
I might, Madam Clerk, not to put you on the spot, but I know you've attended the meetings. Do you have a record of all the items? Yes. Would you be prepared to at least just read them to us? I can actually, if you give me a few minutes, I can. Sure. Yeah, would that meet with your, yes?
Just as a question, right now it's 5:20. Our next meeting cannot start until 7 o'clock regardless of the conduct in this meeting?
That's correct.
Okay, so we're going to be waiting for an hour and 40 minutes anyway, so I feel like there's time to allow the clerk to move through the process. I'm open to that.
Okay, we will then just, do you have more? Okay.
Shouldn't there be a motion and a vote on whether to bring new items and put them on the agenda? These are really new items, a new discussion. It's not noticed.
Madam Attorney, I think she's saying these are new items. This is, in my opinion, it's just we're reading something that's already a public record.
As long as you don't take action on those proposed charter amendments and it's just added to this discussion for discussion purposes only, I think it's okay.
So why don't we take a 5-minute recess while the clerk goes to, good thing we allotted 2 hours. We'll take a 5-minute recess. Can I get somebody to move that?
Move it.
Okay, move second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? All right, 5-minute recess, please. Thank you. Very good. Sorry for the delay. We are back. The council just received copies of, an updated copy of the ballot amendments per the request of Councilmember Fiore. Madam Clerk, can I get you to kind of walk us through, because I listened to the last meeting and I know that there was some movement in terms of who had the right item or who didn't have the right item. So if you can walk us through, that'd be great.
What you have in front of you are the draft minutes from the prior and the last meeting that was held of the Charter Revision Commission. They met on June 3rd. The minutes in front of you is a synopsis of what was discussed at that meeting. However, these minutes are not approved and are before the next meeting agenda. The Charter Revision Commission is scheduled to meet this Wednesday, June 17th at 6 p.m. Behind the minutes is a draft of the proposed amendments that have been discussed and approved by the Charter Revision Commission. These questions are in legal review from the firm of Weiss Serota, along with prior village attorney John De La Gloria. That is what was discussed and reviewed at the last meeting.
Thank you. Do you want to take a minute to look at them, or? Okay.
Well, thank you, Madam Mayor. So first of all, let me apologize. I was out of town, but I probably should have contacted the manager or the clerk, our city clerk, just to have this ready. So I'll speak very frankly. I'm actually very happy with the work that's been done by the Charter Review Commission, from what I know and what I see. But I know this has to go to a second reading, correct, Madam Attorney? So even if we pass this tonight, it has to go to a second reading.
Say pass this tonight,
I said if it gets rescinded tonight, it still has to go to a second
the
reading.
ordinance, yes, sir.
So there could be a change of vote at that time. Really, the one thing I had an issue with here, and you know, let me be very pragmatic. None of this really affects anybody up here going forward. Three of us are termed out. I've already said this. I don't want to go into personal things where people are going. So there's no benefit or gain to me personally. I just want to I want to make sure these are fair. That's all. And I think the Charter Review Commission's done a good job. They have single-member districts in here. Doesn't everybody think that's a good idea?
We're going to try not to take any action, so I don't know. Are you looking to hear from
I want to hear from everybody here. I mean, I got to make the decision, Madam Mayor, so why
Well,
doesn't everybody
I think-
chime in?
And if I could, the purpose, at least in my, well, I'll let you finish your comments.
Well, look, I think single-member districts is on here. I think giving the residents the opportunity to vote on this is all we're asking. I think that's a good thing. They have something on term limits in here. My understanding is from the last meeting and talking to Mr. Quick and Mr. De La Gloria that's been adjusted, so it's fair to everybody. And again, it doesn't affect anybody currently up here or anybody that's served in the past. What's some of the other stuff here? Golf car mobility, I have no issue with this. Single-member districts. No, what else are we looking at here, Madam Clerk? What else? Oh, the one thing, here's the one thing on here I don't think should be in here, which is the reimbursement for this transportation, car allowance, whatever you want to have it. Really, that's something that should be left up to the next council, come on, and the next manager, period. That's an administrative function. I don't think that belongs in the charter. I would hope that everybody would agree with me on that. Again, doesn't affect me, so going forward, I'm done here in November, so, and I believe the only other issue I had was the term limit thing, and as I said, that's been adjusted. So really, that's the only thing I'd like to see personally for myself that really shouldn't be in there. Other than that, I really don't have an issue with everything else that they did, so that's all I have, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. I support, I don't think it's any surprise. I support the rescission of the ordinance because I didn't support the original ordinance. Part of my issue, and Councilmember Fiore, I understand we're not going to be here, but I also feel, at least in my role over the last 12 years, whether as councilwoman or mayor, a sense of responsibility to the community. And in my opinion, I feel like what we've essentially done by allowing the items to go directly to the ballot is providing a group of volunteers who, mind you, have done a good job of bringing forth items. I don't often like the way business was conducted during those meetings, especially in listening and viewing the most recent meeting. I think the second time I had some concerns listening to the volunteers. But, you know, it's almost like, you know, we have the volunteer commission has this sense of we have these rights, but they don't have the responsibilities. The people are going to be asking us about about all of these items. I don't think they're going to be looking for the individual volunteers from the Charter Review Commission, which has kind of been my position all along. In terms of which items go forward, to me, it's, as you said, it's probably not that big a deal one way or the other. But I also think, as the elected body that the residents have put their trust and their faith in, elected each one of us to sit here, we have a responsibility to review them and make comments during a meeting. You may choose to leave all of them. You may choose to have one item removed. I had withdrawn an item most recently that I have in front of me. I was thinking about having some discussion tonight, but I think I'll just bring it back for the next meeting. What's the total number of items?
9.
9 ballot amendments, 9 charter amendments on the ballot, I think really creates some kind of voter fatigue, in my opinion. People are going to be looking to figure out what do each and every one of these mean, and I think that discussion starts here with the Village Council. And that's been my position. It's not specifically about the items. It's not specifically about some of the behaviors that I've seen, both in writing from the chair of the Charter Review Commission and also in listening to the meetings. It's simply about being able to have public discussion on all of the items. And if the council sees something, maybe you have concerns about the way something's worded, maybe you have concerns about an explanation being given to the community, we'd be able to have that dialogue together here on the council. So those are my comments as it relates to the item. So I will be supporting the rescission in the same way I did not support the previous ordinance. Councilmember Cody?
Thank you. Just to clarify, there is one more item that Paul Schweib said that he is going to be sponsoring. It did not receive a majority at a prior meeting. He wants to bring it forward, and so that's why they're meeting on Wednesday to take up that item and to finish off anything else that they're going to do. But with that, aside, I am also going to be voting for the repeal because I think that we have a duty under our charter, an obligation, a delegation that we five are the people who exercise the exclusive legislative authority here in the village. We can't take a part of that, like cutting a slice off a Publix loaf cake and handing it off to someone and saying, you take care of that. If it's going to be something that has to be adopted legislatively, we have to do it. And it can't just be as a ministerial conduit that we're going to take it from that room and those people. It's going to come out here, we get no discussion, we get no deliberation, and we just have to send it on to Alina Garcia. So I am going to, and even if we amend this, this still means that when those items, 9 or 10 or however many that come to us, we still have the ability to consider them, to vote on them, to amend them if need be, as is our purview as the legislative body in this village. So I am going to be supporting the repeal of Ordinance 26-001. And
Thank you. Vice Mayor?
Yeah, a couple of things. The first is that we get our power directly from the charter, and the charter governs how we exercise our own authority. And needless to say, there are competing interpretations out there as to what exactly our authority is related to the CRC. And right now, as we are all aware, there's an active case in court to determine what that actually looks like. I was verbally told by someone that if we were not to forward the exact written proposals to the electors as a council, we may face litigation. I feel compelled to say that because I owe a fiduciary duty to this council to make them aware of any threats and also to our attorney. So I'm doing so here on the record, but that does raise some question as to what our path forward is. And my own personal belief is that I'd like to take the most pragmatic path forward, like my council member two seats to my left likes to do. And my proposal is that, sure, we can take this up regardless if this passes or not. We're going to be in a situation where we still have to consider this next meeting at our regular council meeting in July. So my hope is that there will be enough support, and I'd offer to any council member up here co-sponsorship of this, but I'm going to be bringing the 9 items that were approved by the CRC after the Wednesday meeting to council during that July meeting in their form that was adopted. And if members of this council wish to co-sponsor that and we want to have that discussion, we can. But I'd like to put this to rest and land this plane because this is costly and has been going on for a very long time. So we'll still get the discussion and debate and we'll be able to resolve this. So I'm hoping that we can have that pragmatic conversation, and if we want to do that, that's fine. My personal preference is I don't agree with actually a few of these, but I'm still going to put them forward because I think our voters have a right to decide whether or not they want to vote up or down what's on the ballot. And it's up to us as council members to explain that to the residents as to what was proposed by this volunteer commission and be very clear to the members of the public as to what we need to do. So that I believe is our role, and I would offer co-sponsorship of that initiative to all of my council members up here. And I would hope to have that support, and it seems like there is. So I'll just leave it at that. Thank you.
Something, Councilwoman?
There is precedent, there's historic precedent for the Charter Revision Committee putting items directly on the ballot. And so it's not like we're doing something new. It's happened before. And in fact, the charge that the previous attorney gave to this commission was just exactly that. They could put items directly on the ballot. And I think that it's been very unfortunate how they have been, in my opinion, undermined by switching their charge to now they can't, or now they maybe can't put items. And I think, truly, I think it's an abuse of the volunteers. They've been extremely hardworking. They've gotten along well together. And it really is not coming from the volunteers, it's coming from official Palmetto Bay, that there is all this problem having to do with whether they put items directly on the ballot. I think we need to have respect for our volunteers. Frankly, I think the chair was harassed in terms of his activities, harassed by the councilman who filed the lawsuit. So I would like to also point out, in terms of political science, I have a doctorate in political science, taught at the University of Miami for many years, that I would like to say that modern government cannot function without delegation of powers. So the delegation theory that the councilman is talking about is a very old-fashioned theory. I think it was not used anymore, starting in the 1930s with the New Deal. So government can't function anymore. Now, our charter establishes this Charter Revision Committee, and we have various parts of the charter, plus the county charter, that said if there's a method, the council can set up a method for coming up with amendments and then putting them on the ballot, and that's exactly what we're doing here. It's nothing different from any other government. It's not an unusual thing. And finally, I'd just like to point out that the council can put alternative amendments on the ballot. If there's one or two that the council doesn't like, we can certainly do that. The charter allows that as well. So I think we should respect our Charter Revision Commission members, and we should not vote. We should oppose this rescission. Thank you.
Thank you. Quick question, Madam Clerk. The time frame, two of my colleagues spoke about putting items, we could potentially put items. I know you probably have it on a postcard right next to you. What's the time frame for adding items for the ballot?
The deadline to submit the charter amendments to the Elections Department is Wednesday, July 29th. That is the village's deadline.
So any items that would be brought by the council would need to be brought on July 6th.
That is correct.
Thank you. All right. Councilmember Fiore.
Yeah, Madam Mayor, Madam City Attorney. The Vice Mayor spoke, there's another lawsuit? What is this?
Sorry, I think the vice mayor said there could be a lawsuit that he's heard.
Okay, so I'll
that
ask the
someone
Vice
may
Mayor.
file.
Someone intimated to me over the phone earlier today that if we were not to forward this, that might happen.
Okay, you see, this is what I don't like here. I'm trying to find a Solomon-like way for everybody to agree. Maybe one or two of these things might be a little drastic, and the four of you are not helping me. So I'm going to have to be the one to decide. I'm up to it. I basically said I don't have an issue. It's just this one item. So I can vote to rescind tonight, and perhaps it'll not be there in July, and I'll vote no. And it can go right to the ballot, and everybody can put on whatever they want. I'm trying to be fair, but I feel a sense of vindictiveness or something. I don't know. You all know my situation and where I'm going, so. That's it, Madam Mayor.
Thank you.
I have nothing else to say.
So I'm going to, a question to you then, Councilmember Fiore. I'm not really sure. First of all, I feel like I'm being quite helpful. We've all just explained our opinion on what's before us tonight. I did not discuss item by item because that's not the purpose of this meeting, right? Are you wanting, there's one item, we heard you, there's one item that you're not in agreement with. I may not be in agreement, but since that wasn't on tonight's agenda, I didn't start having the conversations about each and every item. I think it sounds like there's going to be an opportunity for discussion on each and every item coming up in July anyway, one way or the other. But what is it, how can I help? I'm trying
That's
to,
okay, Madam Mayor.
you are pragmatic. I think
You've done a
but-
good job here for 8 years.
No,
I'm
I
not-
just
I'm not
wanna be
meaning-
helpful, but I don't-
We're kind of at the end here,
Yeah.
and there's
I have a new
there-
knee,
there's a
so I'm
line
not
fro-
at the
There's a
end.
line from Star Trek III, The Wrath of Khan, but I won't go into it. But the problem is, Mr. Cody has a lawsuit. Now, the vice mayor said there could be a possible another lawsuit, and, I don't like this.
Well, we have to
And-
make
and-
decisions not based on who's going to sue us, in my opinion. We just have to.
May I finish, Madam Mayor?
Yes, I'm
please?
sorry.
Thank you. See, I'm very, so I think that's what I'll do. I'll probably vote yes to rescind this tonight. I'll see what Madam City Attorney, they're meeting again when? Wednesday?
Wednesday.
Okay, I'm sure they'll have minutes of this meeting and what I've stated and on my own opinion. And the fact is, we can all, each of us, if you get 3 votes, can add an item to the ballot if that's what the majority of the council wants, correct? So I think that's what I'll do. I'm trying to find a fair way to, I understand the concern, the concerns of the council, and I know what happened in the past. I believe the last time the items went right to the ballot, maybe, but then the 2 previous times the items went to the council reviewed them, and then they went to the ballot, if someone can correct me. I believe that's correct from my time here. So, listen, you all have my thoughts, and I think the Charter Review Commission, they can get the minutes of this meeting and the statements of all of us, so I think that's what I'll do. For now, I'll vote to rescind with the option of voting no at a second reading, and I'll see what they come up with. I'll see what the final list is on Wednesday, right? Is it Wednesday that they're supposed to have this final thing? Okay, that's all I have, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. All right, are there other, Vice Mayor?
Yeah, just to clarify to the commissioner, to be very clear, what I'm doing is on that meeting on July 6th, I'm bringing their recommendations to council for us to approve in resolution format. It sounds like that's what you're implying that you'd like to do. So if you'd like, I'd be happy to have you co-sponsor that initiative so that we can have that be brought to council together on July 6th, because it sounds like you want to discuss each and every one of them, and that's exactly what I'm proposing that we do, so that essentially we have that ability to have that discussion. This hopefully will make this go away, and then at the same time we're able to forward the recommendations to voters on our own authority, which it sounds to me like is the best solution. So I would love to have your support with that.
I've heard you talk about it twice, but I don't know what it is. So for me, you're asking for support, but I haven't seen an item. And this actually probably would be a question for the attorney. I'm a little bit confused. You're going to bring an item. We have an item tonight that we're voting on, but then on July 6th, you're going to bring an item that we will talk about each one of the items and perhaps remove some of them, which is exactly what this item is saying. By rescinding, we would have discussion and remove if we needed, or add, I guess, if we chose. So I'm unclear. It seems like it's a little bit conflicting. Maybe it'll all become clear July 6th. I assume that to be the case. Is there anything else? Yes, Councilwoman Mattson.
I guess I'd like to ask the Vice Mayor to respond to that, because I think that's a very good point that you're bringing up, Mayor. I'd like to hear his response.
Could you say that again?
Yeah, I mean, my preference is we don't pass this and we just do our interpretation of our own duty, which is to just forward this off to council. But if there's a dispute about whether or not we have the ability to just forward to electors in the first place, my plan is after Wednesday, I'm going to take what's in front of us here, in front of us, the 9 proposals, put them in a resolution format that was given to me by the attorney a couple of months ago related to submitting these to the electors, copy and pasting them, putting my name on it as a sponsor, and notwithstanding any of this discussion here, we'll have that discussion then, and we'll go through that process. But my stated preference is that we just forward it like we already agreed to several meetings ago, and we wouldn't be going in this back and forth. And this would be a lot more simple, which is why I'm opposed to it. But if we're going to do this and vote yes, I'm just going to go ahead and take the initiative of taking this sheet of paper in front of me, the 9 proposals, and submitting them as a member of this council for us to debate and vote on. So we can have the discussion in July.
Okay, so I would like to comment on that.
Go ahead.
All right, so I'm getting the idea then that we will be able to discuss them, and then if there is 1 or 2 or how many, then at that time, based on your resolution you're bringing forward, we'll be able to decide to put something on the ballot that is different than what the Charter Revision Commission is recommending. Is that correct?
If there are 3 votes, but it is my strong preference that, I'll be voting against every single amendment that the council brings, unless it's to bring it into a conformity with legal sufficiency, because it's my position that regardless of what's in front of us today, we should just be forwarding to the voters the recommendations and taking the recommendations as is. And that's what I will be doing personally with my own vote. What the rest of you decide to do is up to you, but that's what I'm hoping to happen on Monday, July 6th.
So what this does is provide the opportunity for the council then to discuss and put an item on the ballot that doesn't agree with what the Charter Revision Commission does. That's an opportunity.
No, you would have to, if you have a disagreement, you would have to bring your own item, because all I'm doing is taking the recommendations from the Charter Committee and just putting my name on it as a council member sponsoring it, and we're going to decide on July 6th. That's it.
Okay, but
And I'm sorry, and correct me if I'm wrong, you could still make amendment, it's essentially what we're doing tonight. You could still make amendments to a resolution that comes before us, and you just need 2 other votes to move that forward, so. Vice Mayor?
Yeah, my core thing is I'm just worried about ambiguity about whether or not we're going to submit the recommendations to the voters or not. I want that squared away on July 6th. And I want to be able to tell residents what they're voting on after that meeting in July. And that's what I'm hoping to do, because if we take this away and then we don't forward the recommendations, we're in a situation where we repealed our own ordinance saying we would forward them, and then we did not in July 6th, at that one opportunity that we have as a council to send to voters what they proposed, we would have failed to have done that, and this whole thing would have been for nothing. So that's my core concern, and that's what I'm trying to prevent with me doing, just in my own authority, bringing those items. So just want to put that on the record and be very clear about that.
And I would just clarify, that's not what I heard this evening. My colleague sitting next to me very clearly said he supported all of the items with 1 exception. So I hear it a little bit differently than,
Then he can
Madam
vote them
Mayor?
down.
I'm sorry? I'm sorry?
Then he can vote against that one item.
Yes, that's, yes.
Yes, Madam Mayor, yes, I agree with you. Mr. Merwitzer, I said I have an issue with 1 item. That's it. They meet on Wednesday. That's it. I really have nothing else to discuss, but thank you for your keen insight. And thank you, Madam Mayor, that was well said. I have nothing else. I'm done.
Thank you. All right, we have one more
I'd
thing
like to
from-
co-sponsor.
Okay. And I assume we can, procedurally, we can co-sponsor on the day if we choose to, if you accept, yeah. Okay. All right. I think we're good with this. Can we go ahead and,
Madam Mayor, we
Yes.
may want to take public comment, just in case anyone has public comment on this item, on the ordinance.
thank you. Yeah, we didn't have, well, I'm happy to do public comment. We did ask for public comment, but we didn't have anybody get up prior. Come on up, sure.
Henry Clifford, 8875 Southwest 171st Street, Palmetto Bay. A long time ago, we had a disagreement with the country that owned us at the time, and there was a lot of discussions about what form of government we should have. And the bottom line was, based upon the liberal sensitivities of the day, which meant a different word than it does now, we would leave everything as much as possible in the hands of the electorate, of the voters, as close to the voters as possible, and that the government did not necessarily have all the answers and therefore should not have all the controls. It was a separation of powers. Our charter basically says the same thing, so does the Dade County Home Rule Charter, that says that you will appoint a commission to review your charter every 5 years, and there is provision then therefore of well, let me start that again. You have appointed that commission. This is not volunteers that just came off the street. You delegated the authority to review the charter that you could have done yourself to these 5, I'm assuming people, 6 people, whatever, they did their job. And they were given that job based upon what the charter says, that it goes to the voters. It actually says that, and so does Dade County in a roundabout way does the same thing. There's confusion in there because Dade County throws into the same mix, and so does our ordinance we wrote, the provision for people going out and walking door to door and modifying the charter that way. So our charter says it goes to the voters, and you all have to come up with an ordinance to make it happen. You all came up with an ordinance, people way before you came up with an ordinance, which didn't actually mention the Charter Review Commission. It mentioned only the door-to-door and said it goes directly to the voters. They missed something there. So there's debate has happened before, and I believe whoever recalled Mr. Fiore, that's what happened twice. There was argument about it. The council reviewed it. I think one time they modified one item and everything went to the voters. The last time, it just simply went to the voters. I don't understand what the problem is. If there's an item, one item perhaps that you don't particularly like, either somebody can twist the arm of them to get rid of the item or modify it, or you could just come up with another item which basically does it a different way, and that could go to the voters. Either way, what I'm trying to get at is we're adults out here. We're supposed to be intellectually capable enough to decide the way we want to be governed. We're not supposed to hand all the power to the government. We are supposed to be the ones who decide how we want to be governed. The current charter, these rules that you're trying to revoke tonight, they allow us to decide. Please leave it that way. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
My name is Vitali Pakovich, 9280 Southwest 167 Terrace. If I am selected on the board by commissioner, whoever put me on the thing, I am representing that person. Therefore, if I'm told not to do something, whatever, like not to discuss, I should know common sense. Hey, if I discuss that, I'm liable. It doesn't matter whether I'm volunteer or not. I still need to know what's right from wrong. You know, and to me, I think that whoever gets volunteer in the chapter selected, they should know that, hey, what we can and cannot do. Because we're representing you guys and we need to follow the rules. It doesn't, just because we volunteers, the rules still apply to us. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and close the second public hearing. Okay, with that, I think we can call the roll on this, in my opinion. Madam Clerk, can you call the roll? And remember, we're voting on the item that's in front of us, which is the rescission of the original ordinance. So a yes vote means rescind, a no vote means do not rescind.
Vice Mayor Mark Meritzer,
No.
Councilmember Steve Cody,
Yes.
Councilmember Patrick Fiore,
Yes.
Mayor Karen Cunningham,
Yes.
Councilmember Marsha Matson.
No.
Okay, with that, by a 3-2 vote, it moves on to a second reading.
Move item 4A.
Thank you. Go ahead, there's been move of item 4A. Can I get a second?
Second.
And seconded. Madam Clerk, please read the item.
Item 4A is a resolution of the Mayor and Village Council of the Village of Palmetto Bay repealing and rescinding resolution number 2025-80, repealing all resolutions or parts of resolutions in conflict herewith, providing for severability, and providing an effective date. This resolution is sponsored by the Village Council, and it was deferred from the June 1st, 2026 regular council meeting.
Thank you. It's essentially the same item, but in resolution form. I'm just mentioning that because I know we've a couple people that may want to speak. And does anyone want to speak to the item? All right, very good. Madam Attorney, do you want to just give us a little recap here?
Yes, Mayor. This resolution would rescind the 2025 Reso 2025-80 and any other resolutions in conflict herewith, which address matters which may be proposed by the Village Charter Revision Commission. This would essentially remove this resolution and make it null and void.
Thank you. Would anyone want a motion? Do we need a full-on discussion? No.
I have something to add.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, these two are different, the ordinance and the resolution. I wrote both of them. The resolution was to address the immediate problem with the Charter Revision Commission so that they could continue their work specifically to that commission. So that's the resolution that would be rescinded, would be the current commission would not be able to put its items on the ballot. The ordinance that I wrote addressed the future. And hopefully, well, the hope was that it would resolve for the future, for all time, so we wouldn't have to go through this discussion again, all future commissions. So the fact that the ordinance was rescinded applies to the future. This resolution applies to the present Charter Revision Commission. In my opinion, I wrote it. This is my opinion on it.
Thank you. Madam Attorney? I'm based on the council, I'm sure that's a councilwoman, the way she views it, since she said that she wrote it. I just want to get some clarification.
With all due respect, Councilwoman, I think it does the same thing as the ordinance essentially. It essentially says that the council has to submit the Charter Revision Commission's proposed amendments to the voters, unaltered and as recommended by them.
Are there any questions of the attorney? Why don't we, I know it's a resolution. Is there anything else? All right, Councilwoman.
Yes, I just want to add that since I am the writer of the resolution, it was my intent that the resolution apply to specifically this Charter Revision Commission, and that I was concerned then that the issue would be, again, up for debate and unresolved in the future, and that's why I wrote the ordinance to actually put it in the code for the future. So by voting on this to rescind this resolution, then that would be saying to the Charter Revision Commission that they could not put their items directly on the ballot.
Thank you. I know it's a resolution. Does anyone want to discuss it? Okay, then, Madam Clerk, call the roll on this one as well.
Councilmember Marsha Matson,
No.
Mayor Karen Cunningham,
Yes.
Councilmember Patrick Fiore,
Yes.
Councilmember Steve Cody,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mark Meritzer.
No.
Okay, so the item passes on a 3-2 vote. And with that, I don't think there's any other discussion. We've got a 45-minute break for those of you that are waiting for the zoning, the LPA and zoning hearing. We'll start those promptly at 7 o'clock.
Move to dismiss or move to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right, we are live. Good evening, everybody. I'd like to go ahead and open up our local planning agency meeting for today, Monday, June 15th. We're starting right at 7 p.m. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Mayor Karen Cunningham,
Present.
Vice Mayor Mark Meriter,
Present.
Councilmember Patrick Fiore. Councilmember Steve Cody.
Here.
Councilmember Marsha Matson.
Here.
Quorum is met.
Thank you. At this time, I will turn it over to Councilmember Fiore for invocation.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor, and this is something that came to me, and it's from the Sermon on the Mount, when the Lord spoke to the 5,000, and it was one of the parables, and it's basically, I think, at this time, and not locally, but for all of us. So if we could just bow our heads, I will just say, blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall inherit the kingdom of God. Amen.
Amen. If I could ask everybody to please stand, and if I could get our acting village attorney to lead us in the pledge.
Flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very good. At this time, we'll take requests, petitions, and public comments.
Good evening, Steve Kreitzer, 18201 Southwest 98th Avenue. I wanted to see if I could find out why the Miami Parking Authority is going through our neighborhood, writing up residents with vehicles parked safely off the road on the right-of-way, but possibly facing the wrong direction, but yet they do nothing about the hazards created on the other streets and corners where the tenants of apartments are parking on the corners, perpendicular to the traffic, facing the wrong way in the traffic, rear ends of the vehicle sticking out over the pavement, and they're not getting ticketed. It just doesn't make a bit of sense. We have a very bad parking code to begin with, and this, I don't know why the contract extended to Morningside Acres when it was supposed to be enforcing the pay to park in the commercial area. So now we got them riding around their little white car with logos for Palmetto Bay and Miami Parking Authority on there writing up residents. What's the deal there? You haven't done enough abuse with changing our zoning and putting all these dwellers in here that leave their dog excretements out in front of our homes and everything else. Now you're going to ticket us because our car is facing the wrong way? And now I pull in and I see there's changes to parking in the parking lot here, and the priority is all employees. Employees, employees, employees. Come on.
Thank you, Mr. Kreischer. I'll have the manager, through the manager, if you could have somebody reach out to give, see what the issue is. And
Yes, ma'am.
thank you, appreciate that. Okay, with that, we'll close requests, petitions, and public comments. Could I get approval of the minutes for the LPA of April 20th?
Move it.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And Madam Clerk, I see you moving about. Is there were there any comments by form? Okay. Thank you. All right, we only have one item on this agenda. It is item 4A. If I could get somebody to move it.
Move it.
Second.
Thank you. It happens to be my item, so I'm going to pass it down. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Please read the item.
Item 5A is an ordinance for second reading and public hearing. Applicant Fernando Chamula, location 17391.
Sorry.
Wrong item. It's
We're on the LPA, and it is Village, unless I got it wrong, but
I apologize.
No, it's
I was
okay.
looking at the wrong agenda.
that's okay.
My mistake. Item 4A, applicant, Village of Palmetto Bay, location, village-wide. Request, a resolution of the mayor and village council of the Village of Palmetto Bay, Florida, sitting as the local planning agency, recommending approval to the village council of a text amendment to section 30-30.2 of the Land Development Code entitled General Application Requirements, subsection D4, to update survey standards for minor residential building permits, providing for an administrative exception to the survey age limit for minor work subject to a notarized affidavit of no change, and providing for an effective date. This resolution is sponsored by Mayor Karen Cunningham.
Thank you. Any public comments on this item at this time? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, do we have comments by form?
No comments were received by form.
Thank you. And do you want to present, or does staff has presentation?
Start us off, if that's okay?
Sure, go ahead.
All right, thank you so much. I am going to have staff go into details with you, but we've had many residents do outreach over the course of my tenure, for sure, who are trying to do very small changes in their home, be it fencing, which we've talked about, driveways, or other non-inhabitable accessory structures like pergolas and prefab sheds, et cetera. And essentially this item, in my opinion, is a homeowner-friendly procedural change, just like many of the others that we've done, to give the homeowners a little bit of leeway. This is more specific to surveys. Oftentimes when someone's trying to make a change, they have to go out to the added expense of adding the added expense of going forward and getting a brand new survey, because their survey might be an older survey, and I think this will help with some of those issues as we kind of move forward, as we have done with fencing and other items here on the council. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over, if I can, for the details to our building director.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, council members. Javier Gonzalez, Planning and Zoning Director. Mayor, you touched on every aspect of the ordinance, but I'll go ahead and repeat some of it. Right now, the village requires a survey of no older than 3 years, even if you submit an affidavit of no change, meaning that nothing has changed on your property. The problem is, like you stated, that requires a homeowner to seek a survey, spend hundreds of dollars, and also wait a few weeks to get the survey. What this would allow us to do is to accept a survey no older than 15 years, as long as you submit an affidavit of no change, only for minor residential permits, for example, driveway, fences, and non-habitable accessory structures. This flexibility won't apply to swimming pools or accessory structures that are being occupied by people or require utility extensions like water or sewer or electricity. Some safeguards that we did apply is we'll reserve the right to require a new survey if under the permit review process we deem that or we find evidence that a new structure has been built, or any other evidence that would deem a new survey to be provided. That's pretty much it. It's an amendment to the code, and we've reviewed it and we recommend approval.
Thank you. Any questions? Seeing none. Any comments? Seeing none. Madam Clerk, do you want to close? I assume there's no comments, so do you want to close?
Yay.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Madam Clerk.
Well, I would just say, if anyone else wants to co-sponsor, I think it's a good item and entirely up to you.
I would like to co-sponsor it.
Anyone else? Going once, going twice. Sold. Madam Clerk, please call the roll on the item.
Mayor Karen Cunningham.
Yes.
Councilmember Patrick Fiore.
Yes.
Councilmember Steve Cody.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mark Meritzer.
Yes.
Councilmember Marsha Matson.
Yes.
Item passes 5-0.
Thank you all. With that, I think in an effort to kind of move things along, can we get a motion to adjourn this particular?
Move to adjourn?
Second.
And hold that thought for a second. Yes, we go into a brand new meeting, right? Okay, thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, I know we'll need about 1 minute to queue up the next video, is what I understand. Great, we are live again. With that, I'll go ahead and open our monthly zoning hearing for Monday, June 15th, 2026. We are starting at 7:10 p.m., immediately following the LPA. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Mayor Karen Cunningham.
Present.
Vice Mayor Mark Meritzer.
Present.
Councilmember Patrick Fiore. Councilmember Steve Cody.
Here.
Councilmember Marsha Matson.
Here.
Quorum is met.
Thank you. I know we can never pray enough, but we just had invocation a few moments ago. But I will ask everybody to please stand, and Councilwoman Matson, can you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge.
At this time, we'll take requests, petitions, and public comments. Seeing none, I'm going to go ahead and close the public comments portion. We have approval of the minutes from the zoning hearing, April 20th. Would somebody move that?
Move it.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you. At this time, we'll take the major projects update.
Good evening again, Madam Mayor, Vice Mayor, and council members. Javier Gonzalez, Planning and Zoning Director, here to provide the monthly major projects update. First off, we have the second reading of the Fernando Chamula rezoning. That's going to be heard later on, and our principal planner, Edgar, has been the lead on this application. We're happy to make another presentation. As you recall, this item was approved in April on first reading. As far as site plan applications under review, Classic Metals, the current stage in that is that we are waiting for the corrections to our comments that we submitted on June 11th. And as you remember, they're going to make some improvements to the exterior of the building and parking lot area. Vistas of Palmetto Bay, here in the downtown, we're still pending the resubmittal from them, and the comments were issued back in April. Big 5 oil change facility, that's at 9050 Southwest 152nd Street, the old farm store that was then converted into a pizza restaurant, and we're currently pending the resubmittal from them as we issue the comments on June 12th. It's going to be a 2-bay auto service facility. Another site plan application under review is Palmer Trinity. They are reconfiguring the layout of the buildings in their master plan that was approved several years ago. And we also have a workshop coming up this Thursday at 6 p.m. So the public is invited. We did post the social media with the link to the plan, so they could look at the plans online, and they can also show up on June 18th to give us their feedback. Other site plan application under review, Alexander Montessori. This is a school. They are proposing an increase to the student count from 270 to 329, and we do have a zoning workshop. Again, public is invited on July 8th at 6 p.m. As far as approved site plans, One Franjo LLC, which is the Live Local Act project, that site plan was approved, and we're currently pending the submittal of building permit plans. Floor Decor, taking over the old LA Fitness. Their permits were approved and construction is underway. Bravo Estates, 5 single-family homes. The site plan was approved on June 5th, and we did have a workshop in May where we received comments from the community. The same goes for Navarrete Estates. The site plan was approved on June 4th, and that application was part of that workshop on May 21st. Approved site plans, again, Iona Electric Vehicle Charging Station, right west of Village Hall. The building permit is currently under review. Plat applications on the review, Rockwell, they are splitting one lot into 3, and they recently resubmitted, and we're going to review that plan. We have an administrative variance for a pool setback because of drainage and well field conflict, and this is currently under review. Projects under construction, the Pinecrest Bakery, they did have a meeting on site with the water and sewer inspector back in April. They did pay for the relocation of a water meter, and what is pending now is for the contractor to raise the sewer lateral clean out up to WASI standards, Water and Sewer Department, and finish the internal plumbing to connect to the water meter that WASI will install once that work is completed. We do have an anticipated opening in late 2026 this year. Shores is currently under construction. And for July 20th zoning hearing, the tentative schedule at this moment is to have the second reading of the Land Development Code text amendment to the survey standards. And that's it for me. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Questions on the major project update? Seeing none? Wonderful. Thank you so much. Could I get somebody to move? We have an item on second reading. If I could get somebody to move the item.
Move it. Second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. Madam Clerk, can you please read the item?
Item 5A, applicant Fernando Chamula, location 17391 Southwest 92nd Court. Request an ordinance of the Mayor and Village Council of the Village of Palmetto Bay, Florida, relating to zoning, amending the official zoning map as referred to in section 30-10.5 to change the designation from AG to EM for the property located at 17391 Southwest 92nd Court. This ordinance is sponsored by administration and prepared by Planning and Zoning Director Javier Gonzalez, passed on first reading on April 20th, 2026.
Very good. Public comment? Seeing none, staff report.
Mayor, if I may read the quasi-judicial
Please,
statement?
thank you.
Thank you. Item 5A on tonight's agenda is quasi-judicial in nature. It is rezoning or map change. Quasi-judicial items are matters in which the village is required by law to give notice and an opportunity to be heard to parties and adversely affected persons, to investigate facts and to make findings of fact and conclusions of law. Please be advised that the agenda item 5A tonight is quasi-judicial in nature. If you wish to comment upon these items, you will need to be sworn in by the clerk. An opportunity for persons to speak on each item will be made available after the applicant and staff had made their presentations on the item. These proceedings will be handled in accordance with the Village Code requirements. All testimony, including public testimony and evidence, will be made under oath or affirmation. Additionally, each person who gives testimony may be subject to cross-examination. In a moment, the clerk will swear anyone in wishing to speak. As a reminder, comments submitted via online form should not be considered sworn testimony or otherwise be considered competent substantial evidence for the purpose of support for this quasi-judicial item. The full agenda packet on this item is hereby entered into the record, along with the Village Code and Comprehensive Plan. Any correspondence that was received by the village staff is included in the file and made a part of the record. Persons representing organizations must present evidence of their authority to speak for the organization. Further details of the quasi-judicial procedures are set forth in Section 2-107 of the Village Code and may be obtained from the village clerk. Council, before we begin, in accordance with Section 2-106 of the Village Code, I would ask that you please disclose any ex parte communications you may have had on this item, either with the applicant or members of the public or staff.
Nothing to disclose.
Also, nothing to disclose.
Yeah, no disclosures.
No disclosures?
No disclosure.
Thank you very much. We can proceed now with the item. Madam Clerk, can you please confirm compliance with the advertising and notice requirements for this item? Thank you. We can proceed now, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Do you all want to hear the information one more time? No? Okay. Thank you for your report. It was great. It was even better than the last time. Are there any questions, comments, or discussion on the item? Okay. Madam Clerk, can you call the roll?
Councilmember Patrick Fiore.
Yes.
Councilmember Steve Cody.
Yes.
Councilmember Marsha Matson.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mark Meritzer.
Yes.
Mayor Karen Cunningham.
Yes, the item passes 5-0. All right, with that, we will move into ordinances for first reading. Oh, I'm going to pass it down to the Vice Mayor.
Move it.
Second.
Madam Clerk, please read the item.
Applicant Village of Palmetto Bay, location village-wide. Request an ordinance of the mayor and village council of the Village of Palmetto Bay, Florida, amending section 30-30.2 of the Village Land Development Code entitled General Application Requirements, subsection D4, to update survey standards for minor residential building permits, providing for an administrative exception to the survey age limit for minor work subject to a notarized affidavit of no change, providing for severability, conflicts, codification, and an effective date. This ordinance is being heard on first reading and is sponsored by Mayor Karen Cunningham.
Thank you. Madam Mayor, would you like to present again, or same thing as last time?
Same thing as last time.
Any questions for the mayor? Seeing none. Public comment? Seeing none. Madam Clerk, do we have comment by form?
No comments were submitted by form.
Thank you. Do you want to close? Seeing none.
Right, thank you.
Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on the item.
Mayor Karen Cunningham.
Yes.
Councilmember Marsha Matson.
Yes.
Councilmember Patrick Fiore.
Yes.
Councilmember Steve Cody.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mark Meritzer.
Yes. Item passes 5-0. Congratulations. Madam Mayor, I do have a motion for our next zoning hearing, and I wanted to know if it was the pleasure of this council to, since we only have one item on that agenda, which is the second reading of this item, if we wanted to hear that in September and cancel the July meeting that we have.
I don't have a problem with that. Would there be a notice issue for this item? Okay. All right. What a great idea.
Second.
There's a second. All those in favor?
Hold on.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right.
And
We
one
will-
more thing.
Yep.
Since we just canceled that for the 20th, could we have our budget workshop on the 20th?
I think would you be ready to do that?
We will definitely be ready. I'll make sure we're ready. We get all of our forecast data early in the month, so July 20th, we should be good.
Great. Very good. All right.
I'll make that motion to change the meeting
What
to
was
the
the
20th.
original date?
The July budget workshop.
Correct.
The July budget workshop is scheduled for Tuesday, July 28th.
Move it to the 20th.
That's the motion. The only thing I'd like to add to it is, can we push out information to the public so that they're aware of any changes? I'd like to see folks here for the budget workshops.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
We will.
Very good. Okay, there's a motion. Is there a second? Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
I'm sorry?
Question I have is, all right, so what are the changes? It's only one day change, is that it? From
Yes, it's-
Tuesday to Monday?
We not canceled, but we deferred this one item to September, and we moved the meeting from July 26th to July 20th for the budget workshop. Vacation starts early, Vice Mayor. We voted, all those in favor? I think it was 5-0? Okay, very good.
Sorry, Mayor, if I may, what is the date in September for the item? If I could ask the clerk, just for the record.
The regular council meeting for the month of September is Monday, September 14th, and the zoning hearing is Monday, September 28th.
Very good. Anything else this evening, folks? All right, very good. Motion to adjourn?
Move.
Is there a second? Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, good night, Palmetto Bay.